This is one of the biggest fail points on the internet. That is PayPal, one of the most dangerous monopolies online. The amount of control that PayPal has over your commerce online. Say, for example, if you ever want to purchase something from eBay, you have to use PayPal. Most websites take PayPal, but very few other sources. Many content creators rely desperately on PayPal to send and receive payments. Politicians also rely on PayPal. Everybody uses PayPal, and name an alternative. Very few people can. Maybe you said parallel economy. That's a newer one that's out there. I don't want to give or say anything good or bad one way or the other. Just I'm not familiar with it. I've moved myself away from PayPal. That's why when I use my Subscribestar, I don't even take PayPal, because they have ability to lock your account, and it would appear that they're doing so in an arbitrary fashion. Apparently, Moms for Liberty is a conservative account that took a politician, Ron DeSantis, publicly calling them out to free their funds. We see Eric July, wildly popular comic book pre-sale, over $1 million on hold at one point from PayPal. No explanation. Now they're fine keeping your money, collecting interest on it, using it to invest in other things, or to use it as a asset when they lend money, but you can't have it. It always seems like, one side of the aisle is always the one that's getting caught up in this. And now people are starting to fight back, including most importantly right now, Ron DeSantis, but we need more. Ron DeSantis tweeting, last week, Tina Dasovich, co-founder of Moms for Liberty, shared that PayPal had locked their account and withheld funds with zero warning or justification. Days after our event, their fund was released. Florida has put woke banking on notice. And what we have here is PayPal freezes funds for conservative group. DeSantis threatens PayPal. PayPal unfreezes funds. Wait for go woke, go broke. It's get woke, go broke. I can't. It's just so. How hard is it to get woke, go broke? It's like go woke, go broke. How do you go woke? You get woke. If you go woke, you were already woke in the first place. It's such a simple thing. Get woke, go. Anyway. PayPal unfreezes Moms for Liberty funds after DeSantis announces crackdown on woke banking. Here's the article. And there's more, too. Obviously, we have Eric July. PayPal unfreezes Moms for Liberty's funds after DeSantis announces crackdown on woke banking. Remember, I think there was a Canadian bank or UK bank last month that we did a story on that also decided to get woke. If you remember, exodus from Halifax Bank over bank's woke badges amid outcry over its decision to urge staff to share their pronouns. Again, this is the concern, though. Like, I don't want to go all Tim Pool here and be like, it's coming, the end is near. But seriously, think about the number of credit card companies there are in the world right now. 3 or 4? Think about anything that they ideologically don't align on. Think about the banks. Seems like every few weeks, another local bank branch turns into a U.S. bank or an associated bank around me. I don't know what it's like around you, but it certainly seems that way about me. Consolidation, right? How do you buy anything on eBay? PayPal. How do you accept payment? PayPal. When I went from Patreon, when I was banned from Patreon, I went to Subscribestar. It's basically the same thing as Patreon, except one thing. I can't take PayPal payments. And so few people want to deal with it, and I understand. Few people want to deal with, I got to find some other company that I trust and give them access to my bank accounts. This is totally normal and reasonable. But it was very difficult for me to get the same number of people to support me on Subscribestar as it was on Patreon. More people choose to do YouTube memberships because they're already hooked up with Google Pay or whatever. That's fine, but it's just the reality of it. And we've got, a new credit card company wants to counter woke banks. Coin will let customers funnel donations to conservative causes. Why are credit cards even involved in this conversation? I thought their job was to rip us off, not to tell us where we can't spend our money. And then you have Tallahassee, Florida. Moms for Liberty said PayPal unfroze the money in their group's account following Ron DeSantis' announcement last week that Florida would crack down on woke banking. Moms for Liberty was founded in 2021 by parents and former school board members. Their mission focused on defending parental rights with a massive grassroots network of parents across the country. Moms for Liberty co-founder Tina Deskovich said that the organizations had operated on PayPal for more than a year before running into the most recent problems. Many of their donors would give monthly automatically through PayPal. However, Deskovich said PayPal sent notifications that they froze the organization's account during Ron DeSantis' speech at Moms for Liberty's National Summit. Like, during the speech. Okay? This is what's so scary. And I noticed that they followed me on Twitter, Moms for Liberty. So I'm going to reach out to them and try to get them hooked up with Subscribestar. I know, I don't have any skin in that game. In fact, I pay Subscribestar money on their Subscribestar every month. But I can tell you this, every month my money gets deposited in my bank account. Yes, fewer people back me because they can't use their PayPals. But if you tell people why it's important, then more people are willing to do it. And if we all work together, that is, retailers, content creators, people who pay for things, people who accept things, if we all are always looking for an alternative to PayPal, and this is why crypto is such a thing too. If we work together to push interest into alternatives, this is the only way change gets made. And so people in the beginning have to be willing to take it on the chin and say, like, look, no, we don't take PayPal, but here's why it's important that, that you either do ACH or you do, a Subscribestar or whatever. The other scary thing is back when Patreon had some of its most high profile bannings, they actually didn't even come from Patreon. They came from MasterCard. MasterCard said to Patreon, if you don't ban these 2 or 3 individuals, then we're going to take Patreon's ability to accept MasterCard from its customers away from you. Think about that. MasterCard just said, hey, you want to still take MasterCard on patreon.com for your business? Well, you will ban these 3 or 4 people that we don't like. That's what they did. And it's all step by step in the unpersoning of a lot of people. Now, this continues. While he's speaking, I started getting emails during PayPal that PayPal had stopped processing one by one all of our monthly donors. PayPal also froze the organization's $4,500 and would not let them transfer the money out. PayPal told Deskovich that they would not operate on the platform until the IRS approved the organization's paperwork. However, Deskovich said that PayPal had already accepted the paperwork they filed with the IRS, which is backlogged in January of 2021. I emailed Deskovich, explained I tried calling again and again to get another person. They said, sorry, there's nothing you can do. PayPal suddenly released the funds after Governor DeSantis' press conference announcing he wants legislation passed to prohibit transmitters like PayPal from discriminating against customers for their religious, political, or social beliefs. Deskovich had spoken about her PayPal experience at the press conference. This is the kind of change that we need. And by the way, this should be a bipartisan support type thing. If you want your little super soldiers to keep getting their money for their little immediate action plans sent to them via PayPal, then you should agree with this. Although, PayPal and Silicon Valley, they support these lunatics, so I guess it's a little more difficult, but you get what I'm saying. The governor also wants proposed legislation to apply to Wall Street banks and credit card companies. They're using things like social credit scores to be able to marginalize people they don't like, said DeSantis. DeSantis said on Thursday, and he's 100% right. Governor DeSantis took a stand against woke standards. DeSantis announced Thursday that he took a stand against woke banks and fund managers using the woke environmental, social, and governance criteria, the ESG. We saw what they did to Tesla, by the way. is used by socially conscious investors and screened for potential investments. This is just another form of control. This is how they unperson people. This is how they silence voices they don't like. And it's important that everyone is aware of that and be open to researching a little bit more about alternative payments, which is, I'm going to look into parallel economy. I know Dan Bongino owns it or is a CEO or something like that. I'll try to understand a little bit more of that and report back to you on that. But this is, I mean, getting caught red-handed. If Ron DeSantis had not said something, they would have just stole these people's money and would have been able to deplatform them. Not all of us have Ron DeSantis' ear. You know, and not all of us have access, although Christina Pasha does follow me. But you know, this is scary stuff. By the way, I don't know if you saw what I got going on here, but did you see this?
See, we're gonna actually pay it back to that end, or I'm gonna just start grabbing random shipments that we're putting out today on a Monday, and we've got a bunch of them.
This is one of my employees at Coffee Brand Coffee.
And a bunch of you lucky customers are going to start getting cash in your boxes. I'm going to go ahead and throw a $100 bill in that box. A $100 bill as well. So he's getting a crisp $50 bill. She's going to get a $20 bill.
If you use code STIMMY, STIMMY, by the way, right now, you can save 10% off all new orders. All of them. Now, if you want to enter without purchase, there's a link for that as well. There's some prizes set aside for that too. But Coffee Brand Coffee understands things are tough out there. So maybe make today the day you pick up some coffee, tea, or cocoa. We'll talk to you again real soon.